Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webinar from Ideate Software on Revit sheet and view management techniques. My name is Steve Deadman. I'm the Customer Success Manager for Ideate Software. I'm based here in the UK, just outside of London. I've been with Ideate for just a couple of months. So previous to that, I was working as head of BIM for Pollard Thomas Edwards Architects in London, and also worked for main contractors and MEP consultancies over the years also. With me today is Nick Johns, our UK lead for Ideate Software. Nick, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Well, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And many thanks for you taking time out of your busy day to join us for this very short, sharp, and hopefully insightful webinar. And really just a little bit of background, and I want to hand over to Steve really pretty quickly. So, Ideate Software, we're an authorized Autodesk software developer. We've been going for about 25 years, and we develop solutions for Revit and have done since 2008. We operate in 35 countries, probably I think more than that now, but certainly 35 countries plus. And Ideate Software is all about simplifying Revit data management challenges. It smooths out the gaps in Revit, which our customers, like you on the call, tell us are the most problematic. The most frustrating, and what we try to do is to improve Revit data management workflow efficiencies. Today's webinar is all around Revit sheet and view management techniques to improve your Revit models. And without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Steve. So Steve, over to you.
Thanks, Nick. Thank you very much. So yeah, so as Nick was saying, today we're going to be looking at how to simplify and speed up creating plan views, elevation views, views from room objects, placing views on sheets and creating sheets from views. It's all around the sort of laborious process of creating views and sheets within Revit. And we've developed the IdeateApps, which can help you to meet these challenges. So today we're going to be looking at the IdeateApps tools, and specifically we're going to be looking at the four sheet and view tools. So the sheet manager, the align, the clone, and the view creator. So the sheet manager, for anyone who doesn't know, is just a simpler way of managing all your sheet and view information in Revit. So it's like the project browser, but turbocharged, and actually works really efficiently and effectively. We'll be looking at the align tool, which helps you align your views on sheets. I'm sure a lot of you have used these already. We'll be looking at the clone tool and how easy it is to copy sheets and viewports. But a lot of what we'll be looking at will be with the view creator. So a lot of the things I'm going to show you today we'll be using the view creator tool and the latest enhancements which we've done to that recently. But then there'll be a little bit of BIM link. So right at the start, I'll show you how to bulk create some sheets using BIM link. That's another one of our tools. So there'll be a little bit of BIM link as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump straight into Revit. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create some sheets using BIM link. So BIM links are a tool for exporting information out to Excel, making changes in Excel and pushing that data back into model. What a lot of people aren't so familiar with is the fact that you can actually create new data also. So we have some predefined link definitions. If you type the word create, it'll give you a list of all the things that you can create new data for. So there's things like room data or generic model information. But you can also create new levels. You can also create new views, new plan views. You can also create viewports. So that means you can actually create the views and place those views on the sheet using BIM link. But for this example, I'm going to show you how to quickly create some sheets using BIM link, using this sheets create new link definition. So this is a predefined definition that ships with Ideate BIM link. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the filter on here. So this is filtering out any sheets that don't have a value set. So I'm going to remove that just so I can see a list of the current sheets that are in my currently in my project with those parameters there. I'm going to add another parameter to this because I want to use that sheet type parameter to sort my sheets within the project browser. So I've just created a very quick and simple link there. I can now export this out. Open that file up in Excel. So here's the list of information about my sheets. I'm showing me the title block name, the sheet number, the sheet name, whether it appears in my sheet list, and the sheet types. This is my sheet sorting parameter. So to add new sheets, I just type the word new in here under the element ID column, so that when BIMlink reads this, it knows it needs to create new elements. So it'll create a new sheet with the title block which I use. So I'm going to use this one. So I can just do a copy and paste in there. Sheet number and sheet name. Well, if I'm using a TIDP or a drawing list that's already been created by my architect or engineer, then I can just copy this information. So I'm just going to grab the information of these elevations sheets here, copy and paste that information in there. So quickly add the names, the numbers. Do I want this to be true? Do I want them in my sheet list? Yes, I do. And I'm going to sort these into an elevations section in my project browser. So, and then again with these two, I can just drag and fill down. So I created my 10 new drawing sheets. I'm just going to do a quick find and replace because I don't want those project code and the originator on in my drawing sheet number. So I can just do a quick find and replace to get rid of that out of my drawing number, and that's it. I'm done. That's 10 sheets. It can be 10 sheets. It could be 100 sheets you can create using this method. So I've created both of those. Let's close that down. Then I can import this back in. Find my sheet. There it is. Bring this in, and then we get this check, which BIMlink gives you a check to tell you this is what's happening. This is what's going to happen. I'm creating these new sheets. They're going to be located. This is the name. This is the number. It's creating new values here. So that's fine. I'll just create the new sheets. And because I had that sorting parameter, they've already hit. So here's my sheets already created, just a blank sheet at the moment there. So that's quickly creating some sheets using BIMlink. So now we're going to move across now to look at these tools on the IdeateApps toolbar. As I said, we're going to be looking at the view creator a lot. So I'll show you a number of workflows whilst using the view creator. So open the view creator tool. So we have a number of options. There's 4 options here that you can use to create additional views in your project. So we can create plan views from levels, we can duplicate views, we can apply dependent views, and we can also create views based on room elements, room objects. So for this first example, I'm just going to create some new plan views from the levels here. So you can filter your views by level. So here, for example, block A level 0, I can use these existing plan views as a template to create my new views. So I'm going to use this floor plan view here, level 0, next, and I want to create, let's just say I want to create some electrical layout plan views, for example. So again, I'm going to filter by block A. So I'm going to create new plan views for each one of these levels using the A0 as my template. So I'm going to select those views there. So now this is the view creator tool. So now the view creator is actually creating these views for me. But what you'll see in a second is that this is a rule-based system. So I can apply particular rules, or I can apply settings that are contained within a particular rule to help me name my views properly. I can assign view templates, I can assign view discipline, assign a phase or a design option, for example. So at the moment, I've just created those views, and it's just created a copy on the end because that's my naming convention. However, I've already created a rule here. So it's my plans to electrical levels. So that's my rule, and it has renamed them for me. But it's done not only renamed them for me, it's also applied some other properties. So if I click on the ellipses there and find my plans to electrical and edit this. So this is my rule. So when I select plans to electrical, yes, it's naming the views how I want them to be named, but it's also assigning a view template to those views. It's also changing the discipline of those views. It's also assigning a scope box to those views. So you can build in these properties into your rule so that when you create your views using the view creator, there's nothing to change afterwards. You haven't got to go and apply the view template. You haven't got to go and apply the scope box. It's all built into these rules for you, so you haven't got to do anything. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you're happy in this environment, it should be creating views a lot simpler and quicker. So there we are. So I'm going to create those 8 views. Yeah, I'm done. And there's electrical layout, and it's sorted them here because that's what I asked it to do. And it's now I've got the view template, I've got the scope box, and yeah, that's a very quick way of creating additional. You need to create additional plan views. This is a very good way of doing that. So I'm going to jump back to the view creator again, so we can look at the next thing to look at. Next method is so we can also duplicate views as well. And this isn't just limited to plan views. This can be used for other types of view. So we can duplicate. So we've got the area plans. We can duplicate ceiling plans. I can duplicate elevation views, section views as well. So for this example, I'm going to just duplicate these elevation views here. Let's say I want to create a planning set of elevation views from these work in progress views. I can also duplicate with the detailing. So if there's any 2D elements that I want to detail to add to these views, I can include them also. And you can also create dependent views as well. So here's I want to select those 12 views. Again, it moves to this area. I'm getting a hazard line there saying, well, something's not right, the naming convention is not correct. Once again, I've already got a rule set up for this. Sorry, the wrong one was elevation views, that's what I wanted. So this rule that hasn't included any naming strategy, but I just wanted to show you that you can also do things after this. So if the naming convention wasn't included in your rule, I can also do a find and replace. So I can find the work in progress and replace that with 0. And there we are now created created my new 12 views. Again, because I've got a sorting parameter, they will add those to the different area of my browser. So here's my views. So again, I've got a view template applied. This also has a different view type applied to this one. So for these views, I've created a new view type. So that's another quick way of creating views, duplicating views, and this is a very popular with architects when you need to create lots of elevation views. So this should be a big time saver for you. And then I wanted to show you another thing here around the plan, around the view, duplicating the views. So I'm going to go back to duplicating views again. And the eagle-eyed among you would have noticed or would have been wondering what this is: duplicate another family. So this is really useful. It's a very good way of copying plans to other types of plan. So this is a situation that comes up quite frequently, particularly in architectural practices. You've created all your floor plans. Now you need to add areas to them, and you realize obviously I can't add an area object to a floor plan. Oh, I've got to create all those area plans again. Well, fortunately, we've got this option here that you can duplicate to another family. So if I select that, I can create these, I can choose these, my block A floor plans. If I click on next, I can then choose to duplicate these to a different plan. So I can choose to, let's say I want to create GIA plans from those plans. So we're allowing you to change it, to duplicate and change to a different family, which is something I wish I'd had a few years ago to save lots of time. Again, just you wait for a number. It just takes a little bit longer because it's duplicating and creating new elements, new data. So it's just going to go through those. And again, I've got a rule which sets the naming, templates, etc. already set up, and I'll select that rule in a second. I can just change my rule. Here it is. Now I've got create my area plans. So I've just created some duplicated some floor plans, duplicated some elevation plans. Now I created some area plans, all within a matter of minutes. You can also, I won't show you this, but you can also duplicate your area plans as well. So if you had a set of GIA plans and you needed to create another set of GIA plans, we will allow you to duplicate the views and also copy the area boundary lines also. So that's another option when creating lots and lots of views. We try to make this process much simpler for you. So there's one more thing on the view creator. So this is one of our newer features that we released back in November of last year. This was the room views method of creating views. So this is an option where you can choose a room, and then the view creator will create the views associated with that room automatically for you and place those views onto a sheet. So let's filter by level. Let's have a look at block C level 1. So this is listing all the rooms on block C level 1. So let's just say I want to create some views of a bathroom here. Click on the next. Again, this is a rule-based system. So depending on what it is you're trying to create, we ship with some different rules. So this one would just create the elevation views of the bathroom. This one would just the 3D views, but I'm going to select the all on this example here. So I'm going to select all. So depending on the room I've selected, it will select all the elevation views, the plan view, the ceiling plan view, and the 3D view. So once again, this is a rule-based system. So for this is the layout. It's showing it. You can choose specific rules, and then you can choose the view type that you want to be associated with the views that you are creating. You can choose the title block. You can choose whether you want to put all the views on one sheet or whether you want to put the created views onto separate sheets. So we've given you lots of options of how you want to use these tools. So that's what I want to create all the views. I want to put all the views into that title block by clicking next. And again, we're going through this process of creating those elevation views, a floor plan call out and a ceiling plan call out. And finally, creating a sheet and placing those views onto the sheet. And here we go. You can also edit manually within this dialog. So if I wanted to take out that call out in there, I can just double click in here and edit manually also. Okay, so if I could create 7 views, so it's created the 7 views and it's created the sheet. Do I want to rename the sheets? As I could if I wanted to. In this example, I won't. I'll just click on done. And there is a sheet with all your views placed, in minutes, which is no, this would have taken a good half an hour more doing it the old-fashioned way. Yes, it's not 100% exactly how you'd like it, but the bulk of the work has been done, and it would be just a case of moving these views around, changing the layout to suit how you wanted to present this information. And then we do give you an option within the view creator to clone an existing sheet. So let's just say, for example, this bath one, I've set this up exactly how I wanted it. When I came to create the next bathroom, I wouldn't need to go through any setup. I would just click on the clone. I would just click on the clone option, which is, if I click on next here, I'm not going to do this, but you got the clone here, so I could say, yes, I want to clone this sheet. And then I could just create the views based on the exact layout. So there's lots and lots of options here for you. Okay, so that's the view creator. Just going to quickly jump back to the sheet manager now, just to show you some interesting sort of workflows with these. So here are the 12 sheets that I created with BIMlink earlier, and here are the 12 views that I created with the view creator by duplicating those views. So as you know, to add views to the sheets, you just drag from the view side to the sheet side. Takes a little bit of time here, and so on and so forth. And if you do happen to do one wrong, like I've done there, then with Revit you'd have to remove it and then add it again. Obviously, with the sheet creator, I can just, when it actually decides to be placed, I can just drag that up to the right one from this dialog. So that should save some time there. This is Revit we're waiting for. Our apps are really quick. We're waiting for Revit here to catch up with us. Okay, so we just look at the placement. So the placement is by the center. So the center of the view, centroid of the view, gets placed on the center of the sheet. For each of those elevation views, we do give you the option to change the positioning of those views if you wish by clicking on the cog. You can go to the settings and under the title blocks. So the default is the center 0000. If you wanted to change that, then you can. And then you can specify a positioning of the views relative to each of the different title blocks that you're using. So we're giving you that option to move that stuff around. If you need to add a legend, again, it's just a quick drag and drop. Because there's already a view placed on the sheet, when you do add the elevation, it's going to go up here. So then you just have to manually move that one down to where you want. Let's just say I want to move that there. And then once it's placed, and let's just say I need to copy that legend to all my other elevation sheets, I can just copy and paste the legend, and that will paste that legend in the same place on all the sheets. So one less thing to worry about. If you move the legend, obviously, again, you can just use our align tool to move them around and keep them all lined up together. Okay, so one more thing to show you within this dialog box. I'm sure lots of people aren't so familiar with this. Is you can actually create sheets from unplaced views. So let's, for example, I've got a set of slab edge drawings here. I want to add these drawings to sheets. So rather than creating all the sheets and putting all the views onto the sheets, what I can do is, if I just select those, I can use this create sheets option, or it's also on the right click, create sheets. So what that enables you to do is use an existing sheet as a template, and then we can actually create the sheets from the view itself. So I'm going to use this floor plan, my GA floor plan, as my template view, and the sheet creator will then create all these sheets based on these views and puts them in the same location as this sheet. You can copy line work, also annotations, legends, that will all get copied as well. You can choose your sheet drawing number. So let's start with that number. I create those. So this might be more efficient than using the clone. If you had a lot of sheets to create, you would probably think, I'll just default to clone and clone them one by one. If you've got a lot of sheets to create, I would use this method because that should save you a bit more time. So we're just creating the sheets and placing those views onto the sheet. This is a really useful addition to these tools, which I think not a lot of people are aware of. Okay, so just wait for the last one to finish. But we're not done. It's saying it's created the sheets. Do you want to edit the sheet names? Oh, yes. I might want to edit the sheet names. I'm using my ISO naming convention. That should be number 1, shouldn't it? And etc. This should be number 2, and so on and so forth. So you could use some sort of find and replace in there as well. So there we are. So I created my sheets from unplaced views. And here we go, it's done. I'll just show you that. There we are, there's my sheet on my view in the right location. So that's another huge time saver. Okay, so we're almost at the half hour. So it's got one more little workflow that you may not be aware of. So the clone, everyone knows the clone, everyone loves the clone. The ability to clone a sheet and swap out the viewports is what we can do. Obviously in Revit now you can clone the sheet, but you can't change the viewport. You can only duplicate the viewport. We give you the option to change viewports as well. So let's just say, for example, I wanted to clone. I've got this flat plan layout, and I've got lots of other call outs of different flats, and I want to clone these sheets and have them in the same location. If I clone this as it is, actually, how if I add the sheet and add the view? Right, there we go. So if I clone this sheet by adding that view, you're going to get something like this, which isn't quite the same as that. I want my sheet to be I want that view in the same location. Where's it gone? But that hasn't quite matched that view. So if we undo that, and then there's a little option here, a little checkbox that will help me to get that in the right place, and that is so it's not screen creator, is it? It's clone. So if I choose my view, before I select the clone, I want to uncheck this align plan using model coordinates. So by unchecking that, when creating or cloning the sheet, it will place the viewport, or align the viewport with the center of the existing viewport. So when I clone, I get that, which is what I want. This is something that was an issue with clone previously, but we've made the enhancement to that to give you that option. So that should be something else that you will hopefully find useful. Okay, so that is it for the presentation. Are there any questions? Well, I can see there are a few questions here. I should read that out for everyone else, and they can't see this, can they? What are the rules for creating interior room elevations? Can we set the offset from the sides from the level down, and what determines the top level cutoff on the elevations? That is a very good question. At the moment, I understand it. We have set those parameters. We bake those kind of parameters in. So I'm not sure at the moment whether we are intending to enable that to be changed, but it's certainly something we can raise with our development team.
We can go back to Cameron on that one, Steve.
Yeah, we can go back to Cameron on that one.
Okay, the other couple, Steve, we got is from, I can see the questions now from Sharok. Is this webinar going to be recorded and later shared? Yes, it will. The webinar should be in your inbox within 48 hours. And then Steve, the last we got a couple of more questions, Steve. So
Yeah.
when using the View Creator tool by level, if you select a starting view, what information is taken from that view? We assign view types and view templates within the settings, but I also note it takes the crop region as well. Does it take anything else, for example, annotation?
No, it won't take any annotation unless, no, it shouldn't do. It will just be the view. So it's taking a copy of that leveled view and any other information that's associated with that leveled with that level view. So there won't be any annotation at all. No, it's just creating.
Sorry, Steve, I was going to say, and Kevin, if you want us to elaborate on that, we can do. And really, the last question, Steve, is can you create a room view of a linked model?
So again, this is not something that's currently supported. There is a workflow around that, so I can get back to Graciano on that particular question. We have a workflow or a way of working around that particular issue.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, look, Steve, thank you ever so much for those insightful tips and tricks around view placements and sheet naming using BIMlink and View Creator. Very insightful. Thanks to all of you for taking the time out of your day to be with us today.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.